Wyatt Earp, a name that echoes through the ages, conjuring images of dusty streets, gunfights, and the relentless pursuit of justice in the untamed West. He's been called many things: a lawman, a gambler, and even a vigilante. But how much of what we know about Wyatt Earp is true, and how much has become legend? In today's video, we're exploring the real Wyatt Earp, the man behind the myth, and uncovering the story that made him a Wild West icon. This tale of loyalty, violence, and a relentless thirst for justice will send shivers down your spine. Before he was the larger-than-life lawman we all know, Wyatt Barry Stapp Earp had a childhood shaped by hardship and wanderlust. Born on March 19, 1848 in Monmouth, Illinois, to Nicholas and Virginia Ann Earp, Wyatt grew up in a family that moved constantly, seeking opportunity in the frontier. Wyatt's father, Nicholas, was a strong-willed man, a veteran of the Mexican-American War, and later a farmer and constable. The Earp family moved from Illinois to Iowa, then to California during the Gold Rush, all while young Wyatt witnessed firsthand the violence and lawlessness that plagued these frontier towns. This environment would shape the man who would go on to become one of the most famous lawmen in American history. But tragedy struck early. Wyatt lost two of his brothers while they were still children, leaving a profound impact on him. The loss of family in such an unforgiving landscape perhaps steeled his resolve to bring justice wherever he went. Yet, in the chaos of his early life, Wyatt found himself drawn to one thing: order. Before Wyatt's famous days in Tombstone, Arizona, he started his career as a lawman in the unruly cow towns of Wichita and Dodge City, Kansas. After a brief stint as a buffalo hunter and a freight handler, Wyatt joined the Wichita Police Department in 1875, where he quickly earned a reputation as a fearless lawman. But Dodge City would be where Wyatt truly made his mark. By 1878, the city was a notorious den of outlaws, drifters, and rowdy cowboys, all of whom flocked to the saloons and gambling houses. Wyatt became deputy marshal, patrolling the streets, breaking up bar fights, and taming the wildest elements of the Old West. Alongside his good friend Doc Holliday, he would establish himself as a formidable force, gaining the respect and fear of both the townspeople and the outlaws. In Dodge, Wyatt's legend as a lawman was cemented, but while he was an enforcer of the law, he was no saint. Wyatt was a gambler, businessman, and opportunist. He wasn't afraid to blur the lines between right and wrong if it meant survival. But it wasn't Dodge City that would make Wyatt Earp a household name. It was the infamous town of Tombstone, Arizona. In 1879, Wyatt, along with his brothers Virgil and Morgan, headed west in search of fortune in the booming silver mining town. Wyatt was soon embroiled in the political and criminal struggles between the lawmen, ranchers, and outlaws. His old friend Doc Holliday had followed him to Tombstone, and together they became embroiled in a feud with the Clanton and McClory brothers, part of a loosely organized group known as the Cowboys. This feud would reach its deadly climax in the gunfight at the OK Corral on October 26, 1881, one of the most famous showdowns in Western history. But how much of what we know about that day is fact, and how much is fiction? Picture it, a dusty afternoon in Tombstone. Wyatt, along with Virgil, Morgan, and Doc Holliday, confront Ike Clanton, Tom McClory, Frank McClory, and Billy Clanton in a narrow lot behind the OK Corral. The tension had been building for weeks. Threats were made, alliances were broken, and the Cowboys were ready to settle the score. But Wyatt wasn't going to back down. The details of the gunfight are as murky as the gunsmoke that filled the air that day. Some say Doc Holliday fired the first shot. Others claim Wyatt was the first to pull the trigger. But what's certain is that within 30 seconds, 3 men were dead, and Wyatt Earp emerged unscathed. The gunfight turned Wyatt and his brothers into legends, but it also made them targets. The aftermath of the OK Corral would spark a wave of violence that claimed Morgan Earp's life and severely injured Virgil. After Morgan's murder in March 1882, Wyatt transformed from a lawman to a vengeful vigilante. He was consumed by a need to settle the score with those responsible for his brother's death. Joined by Doc Holliday and a few other close friends, Wyatt embarked on what is known as the Vendetta Ride, hunting down and killing the men he believed responsible. Wyatt's violent pursuit of justice raised eyebrows, and the once revered lawman became a controversial figure. Was he still a champion of law and order, or had he crossed the line into outright revenge? The truth is, Wyatt Earp was a complex figure, both a hero and a vigilante, and this gray area is what makes his story so captivating. As the Old West faded, so too did Wyatt's fame. He spent the latter part of his life moving from boomtown to boomtown, chasing fortune in mining and real estate, but luck never seemed to stay with him for long. He eventually settled in Los Angeles, living out his final days quietly with his longtime companion, Josephine Marcus, a Jewish actress who had been with him since the Tombstone days. Wyatt passed away on January 13, 1929, at the age of 80, far from the dusty streets of Tombstone. Despite dying in relative obscurity, Wyatt Earp's legacy was far from over. In the years following his death, Hollywood would take his story and turn him into a larger-than-life figure. Films, books, and TV shows have cemented Wyatt Earp as the quintessential American hero of the West. But as with all legends, the truth behind Wyatt Earp is both more complex and more human than the myth. Today, the name Wyatt Earp stands as a symbol of the lawless frontier, a man who brought order to chaos, sometimes by bending the rules himself. His steadfast loyalty to his brothers and to Doc Holliday remains the heart of his story, a testament to the bonds of friendship and the pursuit of justice, no matter the cost. His memory is preserved not only in films like Tombstone and Wyatt Earp, but also in places like Dodge City and Tombstone, where reenactments of the gunfight at the OK Corral still draw thousands of visitors each year. Wyatt Earp's journey from lawman to legend is one of the most enduring tales of the American West. So the next time you hear his name, remember, behind every legend is a man, flawed, fierce, and unforgettable. Wyatt's legend is cemented in the annals of the Old West, but he's not the only one who left a lasting mark. Want to learn more about the greatest gunslingers who shaped the frontier? Watch our top 10 gunfighters in Old West history video right here, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into Western history. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.